Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of pumped. I love whenever I get to come and introduce people to you guys. And for me, I probably get more joy, like more excitement in sharing with all of your guys' successes than anything else. So when Tyler and I were just kind of going over, well, full transparency, I'm just sitting scrolling through my dailies, right? And I see a memory pop up from year, and it was Tyler's announcement video from last year of when he joined. And I sent him a message and I was like, bro, it's time for us to do an update. And he's like, heck yeah, brother. And then I was like, well, wait a minute, where are you at right now year to date? I said, aren't you like on track to like double, triple your income? And Tyler's like, yeah, I'm making more than I've ever had before. I'm having fun. Like he's going on vacation next week. He's got, I mean, he can tell you a little bit more about what he's got coming up in August and September. And I'm thrilled to be able to participate and just be a part of this kind of excitement with you guys. So I met Tyler about 2 years ago.
March of, well, no, I think it was right around Christmas of 2020.
Okay.
And then I kind of drug my feet a little bit, and then, yeah.
I met Tyler. Tyler was exploring real estate companies. We sat down, and I mapped out a possibility for Tyler, and then I sent him a thank you note after our meeting. And every time we go somewhere, he pulls it out. He carries it with him as he's looking for it right now.
Yeah, I think it's in my truck right now, actually.
No worries.
I have this like notebook that I always carry, and it's in the back of that notebook. I think it's.
And so he saved it, and I think you're on track to like actually hit that postcard finally, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that about you. And Tyler's one of those guys. I remember when we started working together, he's like, listen, he's like, I don't want to take your time. He's all humble and he's all this, but he's a killer. He's an absolute killer. And he'll never say it, but I'm saying it. That's why when I get to run the call, I get to say what I want. Tyler's a savage, and he's not going to tell you that, but I will. And I wanted to give Tyler an opportunity to kind of share his story here with you guys. And let's go. Let's get after it. So, Tyler, say hi.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm super excited to be here.
So share with everybody a little bit about what you were doing before real estate and what got you started in real estate.
So I've had a lot of odd jobs in my life. In college, I worked for a plumbing company all through school, plumbed my way through college. And that's what I thought. I kind of was done with school halfway through my sophomore year. I was like, this is kind of a waste of my time. I think I just want to be a plumber. And ended up finishing school, got my degree in criminal justice. Haven't used it since. But started my own plumbing company right after school. That lasted a year. Butted heads with a business partner. He was just, yeah, that's a story for another day. But got out of that and was like desperate for a job. I was living down at the Lake of the Ozarks and had a buddy that owned a logging company. So I was a lumberjack for about 11 months.
I don't think I knew that.
Did that. And then my now wife, girlfriend at the time, were ready to move back to Kansas City, and I started selling insurance. So I was selling insurance I worked for an insurance company for 6 years. I was on the phone selling all across the country for 3 of those years, and I was in management the last 3 years. So that kind of led me, kind of rewind a little bit as far as like getting into real estate. I've always been interested in real estate. My grandpa growing up always had rental properties, and that was always like really exciting to me. I was always over there helping him do stuff or changing a water heater or doing that, or, and that was always really exciting to me. When I got to college, I bought a house. I turned 19 in January, and I bought a house in February of my freshman year. Worked on it all the rest of that semester, all summer, and then I had 5 guys move in with me that next semester, first semester of our sophomore year, and then had those same guys live with me throughout the rest of our college days. So that was kind of my first taste of real estate, and realizing like, holy cow, I can live for free. These guys are paying my mortgage. Not only are they paying my mortgage, they're like helping me pay my tuition. They're funding my escapades down on Pine Street in Warrensburg. Like it was just a no-brainer to me. And I just always felt like, no one else is doing this? Like, it's so simple to buy a house and rent out the extra rooms to your buddies while you're in college. Like, it just seems so silly that everyone wasn't doing that. So that kind of was like the first spark of real estate, was just like how quote unquote easy it was, like how it just seemed like a no-brainer to invest in real estate. So that was really like my first taste, was I wanted to get into the investing side of things.
Got it.
So fast forward, I was working at selling Medicare insurance. And once everyone got sent home for COVID, I just had like a lot of extra free time working remote. So I was like, what can I do to make a little extra money? That's something fun. I'm not going to go like drive Uber or do something like that, but something that I could like, maybe turn into something. And so I decided to get my real estate license and did that for the first year part-time, or I did real estate part-time for the first year while still selling insurance. And had planned, I like kind of got the taste of it and was like, holy cow, this is fun. Like, I like showing houses and I like meeting new people and I like doing all this. So the goal was really to move into real estate full-time at some point last year. But I was making just so much money selling insurance, and it just felt like it was the definition of like golden handcuffs. Like, I just felt like I can't leave this like steady direct deposit twice a month, like healthcare, 401k, the corporate lifestyle where I knew I was going to get paid twice a month no matter what.
Yeah, you had a comfy prison cell.
Yeah, it literally. Yeah, that's the perfect analogy. But January of last year, the company had like a restructure. That's what they called it, the Great Restructure. And there was 340 employees laid off. I survived the layoffs, but I was demoted back to the phone. So overnight, my target comp went from 150 to like 60. My base pay went from 60 grand to $12 an hour. And I hadn't been on the phone selling insurance in 3 years. And they're like, hey, here's your headset back. Like, you're back on the phones on Monday. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. It was kind of that moment I called my wife, and it was like a big, it was like, holy cow, I planned on quitting my job at some point in 2022 anyway. But it was like, I wanted to do it on my terms, not like be forced into it. So it was a very emotional day. I had a newborn. It just was like a wild time. I called my wife and I was like, hey, I'm about to quit my job. And she's like, what are you, wait. I know because that year when I was doing part-time, I sold maybe 5 houses, and we made like 40 grand on the side of selling real estate.
No big deal.
And she was like, yeah, and which I was like, hey, like I can do this, And she's like, are you sure you're going to just quit? Like, don't you think you should maybe stay on the phones for a little while until we get the wheels turning a little bit? And I was like, no, if I'm going to make cold calls, it's going to be for myself. And so that was it. Yeah, I quit. Well, I had a little bit of PTO to give me a little bit of a 2-week buffer to kind of really for sure think confirm that's what I wanted to do, and hit the ground running. Been doing it ever since.
Right on. And so you had a little bit of time. You joined a team, and then just briefly talk about that experience. What'd you learn? What'd you discover about yourself? And then let's talk about your transition over to EXP and when all that happened.
So I did my first, I think, I started with Keller Williams, and I did the first, I think, 5 deals with just their coaching program. When I got out of those 5 deals, I felt like I kind of had an idea of what was going on, but I still felt like I needed my hand held a little bit, just on the day-to-day transaction type stuff and contracts. And the guy that led my my real estate school, he was like very big into like not getting sued. Like he talked about that all the time. So I just had that like burning thing in the back of my head, like, you can't get sued. Like, that would ruin everything if you got sued. And I felt like I was still at the point in my career where like, I don't know what I'm doing. I might get sued if I just try to do this on my own. And I met what ended up being my team owner, and he was a great guy, and he took me in basically and taught me, I feel like, everything I knew up until that point. Like, I felt like I was, really learning a lot, and which I did. I mean, I don't regret my time with the team, but it came to a point where I realized like kicking over 50% of my commission check just didn't feel good anymore. It felt good at the beginning because I felt like I was getting stuff out of it, and I felt like I had value in that. But I remember the tipping point was I sold like a $450,000 house, and I made like $2,900 or something. And it was just like, okay, like they are not providing the value to justify that big of a chunk out of my commission check. So, and I had this big long conversation. It was Memorial Day weekend of last year. He told me to think about it over the weekend. And it just like that weekend just confirmed it even more. The last thing I really said to him was, and this, like saying this out loud sounds so corny, but I told him like in this world, there's employers and there's employees. And like being on this team, I feel like an employee and I want to be an employer. Like that's my mindset, is I want to provide for as many people as I can and take people with me and do this, you know, to the top notch. And I feel like I can't do that if he always made a metaphor of like flags on a flagpole. Like, you know, my flag's the top flag on the flagpole, but that doesn't mean Tyler Rasmussen's flag's not right underneath it. And that just always like, it stuck with me. Like, I don't want another flag on top of mine. So I took his flag off and I raised my flag up to the top of the flagpole. And that was the transition EXP. Is I left that team. That was a Keller Williams team. I left that team and it was like kind of right, perfectly aligned. Matt left Keller Williams, and I actually emailed Matt the day I left my team. And I said like, hey, because I just wanted to meet with him. You know, I really looked up to Matt and I valued his opinion, and I wanted his opinion on like, because I was kind of thinking like, okay, I left this team. I kind of want to switch brokerages too. I kind of just want to like a clean slate. Well, I emailed Matt that morning, and then like that afternoon, the team or the branch of whatever, the franchise owner of Keller Williams sent out this mass email saying like Matt has left Keller Williams. And I was like, well, that is like some divine intervention stuff right there. Like I was just about to talk to him about leaving KW, and he left KW, you know, like after being there for a million years. Like it just was such a weird timing thing. So I think I drug my feet for a couple weeks there, because I had some like pending deals that I was worried about, like, you know, closing before I left KW. And I took my time, because when I first joined KW, I met with Matt. I had like 3 meetings lined up, and I met with Matt first. And the very end of our meeting, he said like, what if you go to another brokerage, like, what are you looking for? And I was like, well, I don't know, like, where do I sign? So I canceled my meetings with the other ones, and I just joined KW. That was the only people I talked to. So this time I took my time. Like I looked, I interviewed, I probably met with 6, 7, 8 different brokerages, everything from the big dogs with the balloons to the little ones that you've never heard of. You know, I talked to everybody, and I really weighed my options, and I talked to my wife a lot, and we prayed about it, and we did all that. And it just all the signs kept pointing right back to EXP. It just made the most sense for what I was already doing, how I wanted to form my business and run my business myself. It seemed like a no-brainer at the end of the day.
So you're independent, you're solo. Talk about like where things really started to just pick up and click for you.
I would say the first transaction that I closed as a solo agent, where I didn't have to pay the coaching program, or I didn't have a split with my team, that first like full commission check, selling that first deal on my own, was like, holy cow, like, why did I not do this? The mindset that I had was like, if I can make this much on one transaction, like I don't have to do as many transactions to make the kind of money. So that like, it immediately took the stress off of like, I don't have to go sell 100 homes a year to make the money I need to make to like provide for my family the way I want to. So that was like really the first kind of clicking moment, was one, I can do this. I can do this on my own. I don't need someone holding my hand anymore. And really, I kind of leading off of that, the moment where I felt like, okay, for sure this is the right thing, is when I hired my transaction coordinator. I will hang her banner on the marquee as much as I possibly can. Like I give her so much credit for keeping me on the tracks. That was something that was holding me on my old team too. It's like I felt like I needed that extra back office support. And then I realized like, holy cow, I could have just hired Leah, and she did it for a fraction of the cost that the team was taking. You know, it all clicked at the same time. It all made sense. Like, wow. And I'll never not have a transaction coordinator after that. I've never not had a transaction coordinator, I guess, now that I'm saying. or now that I say that. But Leah McDonald is a saint. If you guys are looking for a transaction coordinator, she's amazing.
So just so everybody on the call, like this isn't an anti-team kind of call. I'm a huge proponent of teams, and they have massive value, and there are absolutely like critical for many of us in this industry. I often
I wouldn't be where I am right now without the time.
If I were to start over again, absolutely, I would have been on a team immediately if I would have understood it. But I was in the same mindset of like that. So, so you it clicks over. You're like, oh my gosh, and then now all of a sudden, you went from that one transaction to, I mean, just last May, you had $1 million month for the first time ever. And then we had a conversation. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. May was like the first month where I was like, dang, like this is like life-changing type stuff. Where I think that was kind of where I felt like I was starting to kind of hit my stride financially, where like the weight got lifted off my shoulders a little bit, where that I just had the biggest month the most money I'd ever made in a month in my entire life. And it just got us like to a point where the stress came off. Like I didn't feel like, oh my God, if I don't sell a house next month, like we might not make our mortgage pay, like that was like kind of the aha, like finally I'm settled in, I can do this, I'm going to do this I'm going to do this the rest of my life. Not that I didn't think that before, but you always have, I always felt like I had that thing in the back of my head, like, well, if it doesn't work out, like, I can always go back to selling insurance, or I can always go do this or that, or I still know how to plumb, I guess I could do that, like those were always like that plan B. And that month of May was really like the burn the bridges moment for me, where it was like, there's no like after this, like, holy cow, if I can make this much money in a month, like the sky's the limit at this point.
Now, when you and I had a conversation, you're a lot like everybody on this call, and you were having some challenges like connecting relationship and disconnecting sales, and not wanting to be salesy and not wanting to bother people, because you have the same kind of conversation with me that I have with everybody on this call, is like, I don't like being called, I don't like sales, but like I know I got to be in a relationship with people, like what do I do? And you had a really, really tangible switch in your mindset around that time. Can you share a little bit about how that changed for you, and what are you now doing differently and consistently to just continue to build on that?
Yeah, I hated being the guy that like hadn't talked to a buddy from high school since high school, and then all of a sudden I'm calling you like, oh hey, by the way, I'm in real estate. Like I hated that. It just made me feel slimy, and I also hate door to door, and I hate when people knock on my door. Now that I've done that, it's not as bad. I like entertaining those people that knock on my door now, but I think the shift for
I hired this.
Yeah. I think the shift for me was realizing like I didn't need to call to talk about what I was doing, or it was like I felt like I had the time to just like be a friend again. I mean, when I was selling insurance, especially, like I was working 120 hours a week sometimes, like it was crazy. And I didn't have time to do those things. I didn't have time to pick up the phone and get a beer with somebody that I hadn't seen since my freshman year of college, or, like I didn't have that time. And now it wasn't any more of like, hey, look, I'm Tyler Rasmussen, I'm selling insurance, or I'm selling real estate, and as soon as you buy and sell, please call me. Now it's like, hey, let's go grab a beer and catch up. I haven't seen you in 5 years. Like, and naturally, as we all know, real estate gets brought up in every conversation that we have ever, it seems like. So it was way more of I don't feel like I need to make cold calls and talk about what I'm doing, or please ask and, do those kind of things. It's like, I just have like stronger relationships with my friends and family, and even just people, I feel like my relationships are way stronger than they've been ever.
So talk a little bit about what you got coming up here in August and September. You're going on vacation next week. How many closings do you have during your vacation?
So I have 2 closings next week while I'm gone. I just had 2 listings go live this morning, which that's the first time I've ever had 2 listings go live in one day. I'm excited about that.
2 listings live, 2 closings next week, and another what? 5?
Got 5 pending. Yeah, 5 pending for the month of August so far, not counting the 2 listings that I've got. So it'll be May, but even better. It'll be the biggest month, knock on wood that everything stays together. Obviously, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but
I think Tyler might icon this year. We might be talking to a future icon here this season.
That'd be dope. Yeah, that's the goal.
So share just real quick, we're kind of coming towards the end of the time, and yet I want you to share what you told me yesterday whenever you were in your car when we were talking about, like, here's where you're at, and you're finally hitting this, I wouldn't say stride. You said, one of the questions I said, Tyler, is like, when did you feel like you hit your stride? And you said what?
I don't know if I don't know if I've hit it, but I feel like I am getting closer and closer to the point where it's just fun. Like, I'm just having fun. Like, that's the thing. I just enjoy. I don't feel like I'm working. So I guess maybe I am hitting the stride, and I just can't allow myself to think that. But it's just been, especially these last few months, I don't feel like I work. Like, I just feel like I get to just go and be myself and hang out with people and have conversations and maybe sell a house while I'm at it. Like, I'm having the most fun I've ever had lately. And it's just being present and it's like, sometimes if I don't have an appointment or something, and Blake hit me up last week about jumping on the call on Wednesday. I was like, 9 o'clock isn't a great time for me because, like, I kick it with my kid in the mornings. We have breakfast every single morning. Sometimes I take him to daycare at 8:30. Sometimes I take him to daycare at like 10:30. Sometimes we'll go hit golf balls at the golf. My 2-year-old is literally obsessed with golf. It's so crazy. It's like the only thing he watches on TV. Sometimes he'll go and he'll just sit in a stroller and watch me hit golf balls and clap for me. There's no better feeling than having your kid sit behind you while you're hitting golf balls and clap for you. I'll try it sometime. It's so great.
That's awesome.
But like, it's just like, I guess I am hitting my stride in that, where I am comfortable financially, where I don't feel like I've got to like go and be stressed about stuff all the time. It's just fun. Yeah. I feel like that was a long-winded answer, but I'm having a blast right now. That's
exactly the answer I wanted you to share. And so just give everybody a little bit of an inside peek. You're killing it. And yet what does your daily activities look like? The activities that are just fun, that you're not working. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm probably not the best person to answer this because I
want this call to be real. We're not talking about a textbook conversation. I want you to get an understanding. Like, yeah, maybe this week's different than last week, and yet what's your intentionality around the activities?
In my head, like, my internal goal is to talk about real estate with 5 people every single day. Whether that's in passing at the gym, whether that's, like, I play a lot of golf, like, whether that's, and sometimes I'm a member of this golf course and I'll go and just play solo. So I intentionally get paired up with 3 people I don't know. And then we talk about real estate for 4 hours as we're getting to know each other and drinking beers and playing golf. So I try to have 5 real estate conversations, talk about real estate to 5 new people every single day. Other than that, like, yeah, like I said before, it's all relationships. I just try to hit up the guy that I haven't seen since my sophomore year of college and go grab a beer, go grab coffee, or hit lunch. Or I'm part of a nonprofit for foster kiddos, and like that's been a big part of my summer so far too, is just being super involved with that, which has opened a lot of doors on my business side of things too. Yeah, I think that's, so I don't know, I should have probably a better daily routine, and especially too, like, fitness wise. Blake made a comment about that. Like, that's something that I strive to do every day, is go to the gym. But a lot of times things get in the way, and like, so those little daily things I probably should be better at, but I feel accomplished at the end of my day if I talk to 5 people about real estate. And that's how I kind of frame my day every day.
And thank you for saying that. And thank you for saying it the way you said it. And it's going to go back to the post that I made earlier this week. We get a lot of people that say, what's the secret? And they're expecting something more like,
I sit down and cold call for 4 hours a day.
No, yeah. It's this. And you said, well, I just want to have 5 real estate conversations every day. And then everybody's on this call is like, no, but really, like, what is it? Like, is that it? And you're like, yeah, no, that's it. And you're like, no, but really, like, what else is it? No, it's 5 conversations a day. Like, how often? Every day. But like, what about, no, I just have 5 conversations every day.
I had this conversation with Lene last week, actually, and she said, like, you're like, you're killing it. What's the secret? And I was like, my secret is to talk real estate. And I attribute some things to luck as far as referrals go, but I was talking to Lindsay about this week. Like, that's something that I struggle with, is thinking like, oh, things just happen to me, good, you know, like, but it's a result of when I get in contact with a person or a client, I try to be the full service. I try to do everything to where no matter what happens, even if it's like something, you know, the trains go off the tracks, whatever, and a transact, like I try to still go above and beyond and do the little things that which I feel like is so abstract to say, but like I've gotten so many referrals from past clients because I go and I mow the grass before the day, you know, like, and I try not to make a habit of being like a lawn guy or a plumber or those kind of things. But if something needs to be done on a listing, like rather than them scrambling, oh crap, I can't figure out my water heater, I'll go over and I'll relight the pilot light because I know how to do those kind of things. And so those little things I feel like help me a lot in setting me apart of like, oh, like my realtor didn't relight my pilot light on my, you know, like those little things I feel like have helped me gain the referral business of just it pisses my wife off of how all the extra stuff that I do. It was like last night, for example, it was my grandma's listing that went live this morning, but I was at my grandma's house, like replacing a vanity in her bathroom because the tile guy broke it, whatever, until like 11 p.m. last night. Now it's my grandma, but like those are the kind of things that I just try to treat people the way that I would want my wife to be treated if I wasn't in real estate, you know, and you know, whatever. Like that's my mindset, is just go above and beyond.
If you guys, here's the thing, like Tyler's not just talking about it. Go back to my original post where I announced that I'm going to have Tyler on the conversation. I've never had anyone's past clients jump onto one of my posts and start giving testimonials underneath my advertisement for having a conversation. Tyler's got 2 past clients jumping on, giving him reviews in real time live under my own post. Like, that's freaking baller. Like, that's a true testament. Nobody else has gotten that. I don't care, right? So we're out of time, and I love this. And if you guys have questions or want to reach out to Tyler, just connect with him online, right? He's going to get back to you because he's that guy, right? And the things that I heard is that like in life we get choice. We get to choose our heart. Like, we either choose discomfort or life will give us discomfort, and we've got to make the choice. Right? You got into real estate because life chose to make your current situation more uncomfortable, and then you jumped in. And then each phase along the way, Tyler kept looking up and says, well, why not me? Why not me? Why not me? And he kept betting on who? He kept betting on himself, right? And one of the things is that, like, people that are out there getting it, they look down, they look around, and they go, why isn't everybody else doing what's obvious to me? Why isn't everybody else renting this out? This is obvious to me. Why isn't everybody else just having 5 conversations about real estate with their friends and going out for beers? This is obvious to me. The thing is that it might be obvious, but people just aren't willing to do it. I can't wait to see what's next for you. I love partnering with you. I love working with you. Every time you show up, you take things in. You're so coachable. It's a pleasure. I'm just so thrilled that you're part of our group. You're part of our family, and look out, guys, because Tyler's doing some good shit.
I appreciate you having me. I definitely couldn't do this without you and Blake and everybody else. I'm forever grateful for the platform and the opportunity and the support. And I'm not doing anything special. I feel like if there's one like final words, like just I try to be myself every day and be there for my clients, and while still being there for my family, and have fun while you're doing it.
And that's it. That's what it takes. That's all it takes, man. Right on. All right, guys, have an amazing Friday. Go crush this weekend. We'll be picking up this conversation again on Monday, same time, same channel, 9 o'clock, Conversations That Convert. And this was your conversation. Take care.